Pretty good amount of warpage.
Yep. But why do you think that's happening?
The speed right here, I think I took it a bit too far. I kept him
all you
want
want to do is basically put little beats like this in there, and even this, until the whole thing is basically in place and trapped. It's not going to work with larger beats.
So no more than a half an inch?
Oh, not more than a quarter of an inch at a time. And so what you do is you put a beat there, you put one there, you let it cool off, and then you do it again there and there, you let it cool off, basically until it's cold to the touch. Because the amount of heat that it retains will help to make it warp. So for now, I would just continue to put small beats on there, but this will. It's really tempting to put a long beat on there, but it's really it bites you.
Well, that's what it looks like then.
Yep.
Some more just tack, 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 tack. Except for then, or more like tack, 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 stop. Or
yep.
Tack, 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 stop.
You try to do them away from each other, but kind of like you probably did most of the time. What I would do is, you take a corner there, take a corner there, do one there and do one there, and then you do the other one, because if you only have it tagged here, then the heat will still allow this corner to come up if you let it go. So you put that in place, and then you go halfway, and then you divide it up in two again. But every time it has to cool down, because the heat is just going to warp it. So, but you set all the corners in place, then you go halfway, and sometimes you will see that even if you put a small beat here, that it warps a little bit in the middle. So then you work it down so that you have two even positions again. You take it down there, and if it warps again, you have to work it down. But you try and keep it flat.
Take your time.
Yeah, it's a matter of patience. It's there's no competition here in who can do it the fastest. If you do that, you lose in trying to fix it afterwards.
So no pounding out something like this.
Well, you can try and flatten it to an extent, but the problem that's going to happen is as the panel is warping, if you start pounding on it, it is basically, if you take a piece of clay or a piece of bread dough and you roll it out on the table, if you pound on it, it gets flatter and it gets wider, like pizza dough. So to keep your panel in its original shape, the heat basically warps it in where it stretches. So you to get it back in place, you will have to shrink it, and
Not something you want to be doing in a car body.
well, no, sometimes that's what you have to do, and you can shrink it with heat if you know what you're doing. You can shrink it with the hammer, but you have to do that real tactful, because if you just pound on it with a hammer and a dolly, you're stretching a material.
I see.
So
So I'll just finish this out and try not to get it to warp anymore.
yeah, well, I mean, it will warp some on you, but try and do it with just really short tack welds, and see if you can keep the warpage in control.
Okay. But first, consolidate or strengthen these corners. Probably the first thing to do.
It's not so much
Mix them out.
strengthen. It is more that you tack it to keep the whole thing in place, and you try and tack it in more places to keep it more and more in place. Because sometimes when you're welding here, you will see that your corner there starts to curl up. So by getting the corners in position, you avoid those from moving too far. As you do that, it might be that the middle comes up. So the next step is to get the middle in place. If there's too much of a spread between the tacks, then the heat will either push this one up, or it can push the other one down, but something is going to move on you. So the trick is to try and get your whole circumference tacked in such a way that it cannot move too much. You try and limit its movement further and further by, like I said, going corners halfway, and you split it up in two again, and then you just keep making the distances smaller and smaller.
Makes sense.
Yeah, but there's still a bit of a distance between making sense and getting it.
Right.
But it's just a matter of practice, like anything else.
Starting to see it a little bit more clearly now. But now I know what warping looks like. So,
Yep.
for sure. And that is certainly too long. So I'll finish this out.
Yeah, just keep going on it. And we'll do another one.
Okay. Sounds good.